Hey, what's up, guys? Marty from Team Peace and Pass here, and today we're doing Market Watch for the month of March. Ascent Seattle has come and gone. Abyssal Heaven is released, so we're taking a look at some of the strategies and cards that are being bought out and or going up or down in price in that aspect of things. So, I wanted to get started with going over Abyssal Heaven with the set. You can see our leader of the URs is our Divine Relic Art of War. Performed very well through the Ascent. You see that they're listing in about the $75 mark when it comes to that, which is about accurate. A lot of it did have the $50 price point. Some people 55. Some people didn't know what it was going to do, and then it just slowly crept up because we've had Imperial Seal, Mercurial Heart, Spectrometer. So some of those ones that seemed good, and seeing how they performed, I was a little hesitant with this. But now that we know that this is a very strong card, the price is being justifiable for people to pay for it. Looking at your other URs, your Fate Stones, your Ruby at 45, your Sapphire at 50, and your Emerald at 35. Each of these obviously have, with the Gojia, strategies and ideas, each of the respective elements. A lot of people are really excited for the water aspect because it's going to play similar to Sylvie. You get the ability to have mill, you play some allies. The Ruby Fate Stone being more in line with an aggression deck, and then the Emerald Fate Stone. Didn't see too many with the Ascent. A lot of people that were playing Wind were actually playing the Azurite Fate Stone because you just beseech, get this going, start getting your draws and banishing and turbo this out to try to kill them. So we'll see what this kind of develops. That's why it's in the lower price point bracket for that. Now, as far as your super rares that really performed very well over the Ascent and started to see some buyouts or some higher price hikes, Zheng Jiao, with the draw 2 aspect was 0. With the Dian Chao fractal deck, you have several fractals in play. You tap 3 of them, you play it, you just get the draw 2. This card's got a lot of applications because obviously it has very different effects based on what you got going on. The recovery aspect of things, just to be able to heal with some aggression decks. The 4 to 6 is going to be very interesting to see because we didn't see too many of the Arasana win decks with your all of your Astra cards to glimpse. So being able to play something and then play this, getting a glimpse for that could be something of a utility. This card has so much versatility, and that's why it's sitting at 40. Your other couple super rares that are up in price, Sirius Command was at 28. It actually did come down a little bit here into the $19 to $20 price point, but there were several of them that were selling at $27, $28, $28 all the way around because people didn't know where this car was going to settle. But it's come down actually a little bit, which is nice to see. However, Zuchang has gone up. Last week I was actually contemplating on finishing my playset at 13, and man, do I wish I would have done that. These cards are going 30s, all 15, 12, 13. That was the price point that I was looking to spend, but this card's really strong. Just if you're playing a water deck at the beginning of your opponent's recollection, if they don't have any floating memory engrave, the first card costs 2 more. So if you're playing against like an ally deck, a lot of times they're trying to drop 2 allies per turn, try to get that advantage off. But if you have this in play and they go to play a 3-drop, well, now it costs 5. And since it costs 5, if you play like a Frozen Dismissal or something to counter them, they're just passing the whole turn. They don't have the ability to drop something else. And most of the time, those ally decks don't have floating memory to pay for this. And so it makes it hard for it to be attacked and take the damage for this to go away. And that's why a lot of people are playing it. You can kind of see it in that $30 price point. But as well with the water decks, obviously with the fractal stuff, you do have the ability to just Refracting Missile or one of the other card that does it based on the number of Fantasias and just destroy the ally that's trying to attack and kill it. So it can stay up for a very long time. The rest of the set from the first page, you have your Scepter Awakening at 21, your Huaji at 13. The Spirit's $9 apparently. to $14. Like there's one listing for 9, but they're averaging 15. I have no idea why. I'm not a big fan of these. Glimpsing 7 and drawing is great. They all go to memory, and you're basically skipping a turn. And in this game, that's a lot to skip. Fire Bloom Flourish, Opulence, Seeking Rebuke, and Extricating Touch, all in the $12 to $14 price point, and then Lubu is at 10. The rest of the cards will be after. You guys can take a look at those. Let's move on. So you have Arthur the Young Heir. Right after the Ascent, this actually did not have anything on the market. Your Fire aggro decks are a really strong counter to the Fractal Fantasia deck, because they just can't handle that raw aggression and damage as well. It just if you get going off, that's going to be a very tough battle. And so Arthur's one of the biggest things that you play on turn 1, so you can get it immortal. So with that, they're settling at about $33 to $36. There's only a couple listings of each. This card for a long time was 13 to 18, and now we're seeing it go up. And obviously it's from DOA, the first set, so it's a little bit harder to kind of get. So this card might stay up there for a little while. Speaking of DOA, Beseech the Winds. We have our wind deck that is trying to turbo out Gojira. This is something that they consider playing, because obviously you have the Fate Stone, but you also have this, so that way you can see one of them to get the Gojira going, to get the draws and the banishing with that. So these are set, Altar Edition sitting around just under 40, and the first edition just under 50. Carter. So at the end of the Ascent, we got our announcement for an Umbra Guardian, and with that being said, Carter gets his class bonus to cleave as a Guardian. So Carter got actually pretty bought out with this. The ALC Altar editions for the alternate artwork were at 22, and the synthetic, the regular one from the ALC for the Synthetic Reaper was sitting at about 33. Now we can see that they're actually at 43 and 65. So maybe this card will see something down the road. It already got its reprint with the alternative art. I mean, they can just run another run of ALC Altar edition to get more in print and rotation. So we'll see what happens with that. Dream Fairies, they're settling at about $9 to $10. With the Fate Stones, this is one of the best outs to it, because obviously they all have Spell Shroud, and other than like attacking and trying to kill them, this is the easiest out, that you just play the Dream Fairy, take it away, and move on. So these are up there a little bit. Everflame Staff. Everflame Staff was played in Fire Diao-Chan, since it has the Cleric and class bonus for dealing damage. This card was sitting at $3 in January, slowly creeping up, and now we're seeing it in the price point of that $13 mark, almost to $15. So, Ghost of Pendragon, always on the buy. $70 for the Altar Edition is insane, and then $80 for your first edition. So, or $400 if you want to pay for the foil. Hopefully, Ghost of Pendragon will be something that we'll see in Supporter Pack 3 with some alternative artwork, allowing people to get some of their foils and stuff that they've been hunting down. Going over the other Divine Relics, just to kind of see where they're settling at, we have Imperial Seal that is sitting at about the $60 price point for A and B. Obviously, we went over Art of War sitting at $76. Your Mercurial Hearts are about $28. Your Grand Crusaders rings are now sitting at about $70. Spectrometers are about 15 to 20 essentially for the few listings. Most of them are averaging between 26 and 20, but there's a few lower listings there. Your Quicksilver Grail sitting at about $50. So those are going to be all of your Divine Relics and kind of where their price points are. Obviously, if I had to put these in order, Grand Crusaders ring is always going to be the best. I would think Art of War is going to be your close second place one. It's got a lot of different aspects. It can be brought out with the Mage Dude. It can, pay for the cost of something. It prevents people from attacking allies. It does so many different applications that it can be used in a variety of decks, just like GCR, just giving you the draw. Quicksilver Grail would be the next best, and then so on down the line. So those are just your Divine Relic updates. Indolent Leisure, your Immortal Ambition rare class bonus as a cleric or a mage. Draw a card into memory, draw a card. For a while, it was sitting at 7. It did dip down into the 6s, but it has slowly trickled up, and now it's sitting at about a $15 rare, which I think is absolutely insane. But we eventually will get A and B or reprints, and that card will be up there for a little while. Lightweaver's Assault. We got our new attack card in Abyssal Heaven, so this card has gone up because we have your Luxem attack card that allows you to, in tandem with playing this, you play the attack card, you play the assault, you reveal, you deal damage with the assault. That attack card gains any of the Luxems that you revealed from the Lightweaver's Assault, and then it will trigger again and reveal them. So these cards they did drop down to the 8 to 10. Now they're just kind of going up into that $20 price point. Umbral Waltz, or Pre-Numbral Waltz, excuse me, has also been on something that, $6 to $7. It's going on up to that $12 price point. There's only a couple left, and then you have a few foils. Tristan's been on the rise for some reason. I don't know if there's some strategy that I'm missing or anything like that. I know that obviously we had the Luxem Windzander take second place, but this obviously does prevent some of the damage and summoning the shadow tokens. So you can kind of do that, prevent the damage. Maybe it's a good, if you can get there, obviously when you're competing against some aggressive decks or ally decks, you prevent the 3 damage. If it was 3 or greater, you can summon tokens to kind of pawn off some of those attacks. I actually don't really know why this is getting bought up, but I guess it is. So your Gojira Recollection, basically your backup charger for your quest counters. I just wanted to kind of go over this because it's a $19 card, one that's in the Recollection deck. So it might be, if you're looking to pick up that Recollection deck, realistically, it's not a bad buy, right? You spend 50, 55, 60, somewhere in that range to purchase the deck. You get 3 packs. You get to open that stuff up. You can always sell the Dragon Shield sleeves for $10. You sell this for the $20 that apparently it's at for some reason. You made half your money back from there. So Rococo, covering back to the Arthur deck. Rococo is obviously in that fire aggro style deck, dealing the damage, everything like that. So this card was, 12, dipped down with the ALC reprint. So you can kind of see how it kind of trickled on downward into that $7 mark. And then it just went right back up. And we're sitting at currently $28 with only a few listings, because fire aggro has been a very strong contender of the format, competing against your fractal deck. Same thing with the CSR sitting at about $650. There's only been a couple that sold. One was back in March for $400, and then December for $300. Currently sitting at the $650 mark. So, Seaside Ringleader, another card on the rise. $15 back in January, and now we're sitting at the $32 to $33 mark. This card, obviously, when we're talking about the Fate Stone with the water deck, if you stick with Gojira the entire lineup, you are Tamer. You get always access when this gets milled to get a draw and put some buff on stuff. The Azure Dragon, one of those other cards in the Recollection deck, just the Fate Stone itself. There was only one listing. Nobody's really bought it, but if you're doing that kind of aspect of buying the Recollection deck, piecing it apart a little bit and selling some of that stuff, there's something you can post on here for like $5-6. You ship it out, you got that, you got the cake, and then your Dragon Shield sleeves, something that might be worth it in the end. We did go over the command, so we'll skip that one. Shadow's Claw from Mercurial Heart from MRC as your UR. Starting back in January, still $50, and now it has climbed up to that $70 price point. Tristan fans who have their decks obviously don't have to worry about this, but if you're looking to build it, it might be something that you want to wait on, along with the Waltz. MRC reprints come in 2 months. So, Vertigress Decree, getting rid of Target Fantasia. suppressing an ally, or obviously the 3 effects with the target attack. Basically, your biggest one in here is to destroy the target Fantasia. They're at $25. For a while, they used to be $5. They climbed up to 9. They've been at 11. So it's been on a little bit of a trickle with this card. I mean, we see that quite a few of them have been bought. They were sitting at the $11, $12, $13 mark, and they've kind of increased along the way. These are mostly foils, but still, even at that aspect, with the non-foils, they're still at $25. Very last one, Vermilion Decree. Fire aggro, once again, dealing 3 damage, dealing 2 damage, drawing cards. $10 all the way up. We're currently seeing them sitting at 30. So this is going to be your guys' market watch for March post Ascent Seattle. I want to thank you guys for watching. And as always, peace. Thanks, guys.